Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Stockport for tabling this debate on World Water Day. Such a debate is a reminder how lucky we are in the UK and how fortunate I am. In Scotland, we enjoy world-class, high-quality water, drinkable straight from the tap, and unlike in England, is publicly owned and will remain so unless the Tories use the pernicious internal market bill to privatise it. It's worth noting that water bills in Scotland are 12% lower than in England. The theme of World Water Day 2021 is valuing water, and indeed water, safe water, is beyond price. As highlighted by the International Rescue Committee, practising simple hygiene, especially hand washing, plays a critical role in reducing the transmission of COVID-19 and other communicable diseases. Yet according to the latest UNICEF estimates, only 3 out of 5 people worldwide have basic hand washing facilities. 40% of the world's population, or 3 billion people, don't have a hand washing facility with water and soap at home. It's a terrible fact that billions of people worldwide still live without safely managed drinking water and sanitation. The world is not on track, sadly, to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal of sanitation for all by 2030, as the current rate of progress needs to quadruple to reach the global target of universal access by 2030. And it's shameful that while every other G7 country has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic by increasing aid, the UK government is alone in choosing to cut it by approximately £4 billion this year, after a cut of £2.9 billion last year, and in doing so, reneging on a legally binding aid spending commitment and yet another manifesto promise broken. The government must urgently rethink this move and U-turn on its plan to abandon its 0.7% commitment to aid spending if tragic consequences for the world's most vulnerable are to be avoided. For example, the UK government announcement earlier this month that it would cut aid to Yemen by nearly 60% in 2022, directly risking cutting food and water support to 250,000 vulnerable people. 92% of the UK aid budget in Yemen goes to disaster relief, health, education and water, with 7.8 million people in Yemen lacking clean water and sanitation, including an estimated 9.2 million children who have no access to clean water, sanitation and hygiene. In sub-Saharan Africa, 63% of people in urban areas, or 258 million people, lack access to hand-washing facilities currently, whilst it has been reported that the UK government is set to cut aid to the most water-scarce region of sub-Saharan Africa by a staggering 93%. The UK government's decision to refocus UK aid spending towards supporting trading interests in favoured countries as opposed to poverty alleviation will cost the lives of the poorest people on earth who do not even have suitable drinking water. There are deep concerns about the UK government's £120 million funding cut as well for international research on water security. With almost no notice, this cut has been taking place and has been condemned by the UN. For the poorest people in the world, the situation is already much worse than any of us in the UK could imagine. Extreme weather, such as prolonged droughts, dry up water resources like springs and wells, while rising sea levels and flooding contaminates ill-protected water supplies with dire consequences. With no clean water to drink, cook or wash, communities falter, putting their lives, livelihoods and futures at risk. By 2040, the situation is predicted to be even worse, with climate change making water perilously scarce for 600 million children. That's 1 in 4. Safer water has huge implications also for maternal and newborn health, and tragically, infections associated with unclean births account for 26% of newborn deaths and 11% of maternal mortality, together accounting for more than 1 million deaths each year. Approximately 20% of all global deaths are due to sepsis, amounting to approximately 11 million potentially avoidable deaths each year. And more than half of all healthcare associated sepsis cases could be prevented through the provision of safe water and sanitation as part of infection prevention and control. And a lack of water, access to water for hygiene and personal use and sanitation can affect women and girls in multiple intersecting ways. Girls and women in sub-Saharan Africa spend 40 billion working hours every year collecting water, time that therefore cannot be spent participating in education, employment, social and political activities. With studies linking child survival more closely to their mother's education level than their poverty level, factors that reduce educational opportunities for girls have significant implications, not only for their economic and social opportunities, but also for their health and well-being of their families and communities. Water security is quite literally the difference between life and death, and the poorest people on earth are suffering and dying without vital access to this natural and essential resource. For the UK government to slash its aid budget when the poorest people on earth need it most is truly shameful. Let's change that.